Welcome to the new episode of Green Guardians. I am Aishu Bharadwaj, Assistant Editor at Trade Promotion Council of India, and today we have with us another veteran from solar energy sector. Please welcome Mr. Sachin Rele. Welcome to our series, sir.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Ayushi, for having me here.
Before we start our questions, I just want to tell our audience that Mr. Rele is the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Autonic Energy Systems. The man has over 30 years of experience in solar, power electronic, and energy storage sector. And for your information, Autonic is one of the oldest solar companies in India. Sir, it is indeed an honor to have you on our series.
Thank you. Thank you, Ayushi. Appreciate this.
So without taking much of your time, I will just ask my first question. What inspired you to establish Autonic Energy Systems, and how has the company advanced to energy industry changes since its inception, sir?
Um, I started Atonic in 1994 with specific focus on energy and energy-related solutions.
Right.
We were traditionally into batteries and battery storage.
Okay.
In 2005, I really looked at alternative sources of energy and started doing work in alternate energy. Those days, to my listener friends, I'm happy to inform you that the price that I have bought solar modules is at 375 rupees watt peak.
Oh,
Today, today we can buy solar modules at maybe 90% the cost at which we have bought the solar modules. So the prices were really expensive. And I've seen the journey evolve from where we were in 2005 to 2023,
right.
and the whole process has been very learning, and it's been an experience, and I've really enjoyed the part of being here. So coming back, what inspired me to get into solar was in good old days. Whenever you look at a sunlight,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for me, it is petrol that is fallen on the road.
Right.
So I try to look at it that what is the technology, what is the solution that I'm able to harness power from nothing and generate energy was the question at that point of time that I realized, and that's how I started with solar. The earliest project that I did was for looking at off-grid solar, because those days there was no policy on for on-grid solar, and
Right.
did most of the projects till 2012 in on-grid off-grid space. Incidentally, I was the first person in India to look at solutions for ATM.
Oh,
ICICI, this bank, IndusInd Bank was the first bank in
okay.
India to have a solar solution for ATM solutions based on solar. And in 2009, I did the project. I did the project based on a very unique concept that the system would operate on a trigger based and timer based.
That's great, sir.
And in 2009, I had remotely monitored the system, so we could actually access the data on remote monitoring. And then the second project was that we did cold chains with
Okay.
solar. And at that point of time, I've also used a lot of innovative ideas, and we were open for price maximization. You know, price was never the concern. It was greening of it and genuine greening of it. And
Right.
so we worked on cold chains, and thereafter been in solar on rooftop segment all the time.
That's great, sir. And I think it is my honor indeed to, to sit with somebody who is coming from that era. And you are certainly, one of those people who have uplifted this sector. And with this only, I want to ask my next question, sir. So, when it comes to your specialities, solar rooftops, ground-mounted power plants, and floating solar, are your key specializations. So, what unique challenges and innovations have you encountered while implementing these different solar solutions?
You asked three questions in one,
Yeah,
so I'll answer it differently. When we talk about
right.
rooftop solar, we have two. look at the complete ecosystem of the building. So it's just not installation of solar.
Right.
So before I get back to your main question, is solar is a multidisciplinary subject, and most of my friends who will
Right.
be listening to you will be appreciating it. You
Mm-hmm.
need to know a little knowledge of everything. So you'll need to
Right.
know little of electrical engineering, some part of mechanical engineering, some part of electronics and telecommunication, some part of
Surely.
metallurgy as a part, and as a total concept, we need to look at it. Needless to say, civil also engineering also becomes an important part. This is more on need to know basis rather than having a detailed knowledge. So I may not know how to build a dam, but I would certainly know how to build a structure which is stable and which could take 150 kilometers per hour wind speed. So that's something which is very specific to. So when
Right.
you're looking at the broadness of a subject, we talk about specifics within the specifics to address. In terms of electrical, we know how to draw power from the system. So
Right.
that's one part. When you go about understanding that, the most important part is how do you implement the technology is the most important part. So I'll
Right.
give you a very, very crude example, but I love giving this example. So I may have the world's best harmonium or a piano.
Right.
That does not make me the world's best harmonium or a piano player.
Right.
Unfortunately, this is what is happening in solar. So you are buying one of the best material, but if you cannot design and engineer the system, it is useless.
Right.
And unfortunately, all the products and solutions in today's time are commoditized, which means people look only at the commercial aspect of the project, which means how much, like we have that ad, mileage kitna deti hai, so what is the price of that. So
Right.
this is a very unfortunate part about the solar, and we are really getting impacted. Coming back to the main question again, so rooftop solar is something which is so the rooftop solar is very, very different. When you talk about ground mounted system, again, design engineering plays a very important part. Just for your for the viewers, we have done a project in Germany. We have done a 2
Okay.
megawatt installation in Germany for a German EPC.
Mm.
And pre-COVID, we have actually designed and engineered and exported designs to people, to the German company. So not only did we do that, we just got some forex for India, and that's what we did. So most of the German companies really know the importance of design and engineering, and this is the single largest strength, because I appreciate the design and come in with a multidisciplinary answer. Ki how can we make the system robust? Now,
Right.
I want to justify why I'm saying this. When people say that solar generation, whether it will last for, see, most of us make a high-handed statement that 25 years of life. That's what people say. I can confidently say, and I can be happy to talk to few of your members, is that I have a 9.5-year-old project installed at Mercedes-Benz, with which has operated with zero downtime for 9.5 years, and we don't even have an AMC with them, and there's no downtime. So there is once occasionally, sometime they just call us where we have a cup of tea, we just check the system. But that's the importance of engineering and design.
Right.
And so I've done about 250 odd installations, and most of the installations are trouble free, and they're working beautifully. So that's what my take is. So any person getting into solar or wanting to understand solar or implement solar, little more emphasis on engineering and design is a prerequisite for a long lasting solar project.
Sir, just let me just tell you that you are, one of the first person who have, briefed us the importance of engineering and design, rather than just what, the industries or what is the sector is, and it is quite appreciated, sir. And my next question would be, could you discuss any cutting edge technologies or innovations that, Autonic has adopted or is exploring to enhance the efficiency and performance of solar installations?
So there are three things that we are getting into now. The first thing is that we have tied up with with a Spanish company for getting
Okay,
in floating solar in India,
great.
and we are actually looking for investment into that project, wherein which we can actually start manufacturing the floats in India, which is going to be a game changer. As you know, the first investors are always difficult to come on
Right.
board. So we are
Right.
actually waiting for the right opportune time. That is the first part. Second part, like I mentioned, is that our focus is on designing.
Mm-hmm.
So what we do is that there are certain parts that will fail, and the parts that will fail is something that we actually re-engineer and
Right.
over-engineer and put it up. And the last part is that we have our own dashboard wherein we have our generation methods,
Right.
and that's how we monitor the system and see the performance of the system. And it's not that I'm perfect, right? But nobody stops me from making an attempt to reach the perfection.
Right.
So it's an evolution. I'm evolving, and you cannot say I've perfected the system. Yes, I am trying to do my best, but the word that we really have is the word called better in English. So
Right.
I can still better it. I can still better it. I can still do a better job. So that's the core focus and ideologies that I work with.
And we only wish Autonic and you all the best in achieving that, sir.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Moving on, as we know that India has abundance of sunlight and it experiences varying levels of sunlight throughout the year. So how does Autonic addresses the challenges of optimizing solar power generation in different regions of our country, sir?
Okay. This question, and it's a very important question. I'm glad you took it. So I'll just share the experience that we had in Germany.
Sure.
So the projects that we did in Germany, the mandate was that
Mm-hmm.
every square inch of roof has to be covered. So
Okay.
east ho, west ho, north ho, doesn't matter. What they are
Has to
saying
cover.
is that instead of generating zero, I will generate 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, as much as energy. So
Hmm.
we don't want to forgo even one opportunity of losing the power generation.
Right.
And here in India, and when you look at Germany, so sun is in the east, and in December sun is in north. So the orientation of roof is completely different. Even then, they are getting into solar. And in India, when we are talking at it, most of India is in within from the equator to the Tropic of Cancer, where
Mm-hmm.
we are blessed with sunlight.
Right.
So we've gone ahead, and we are also doing what we have done in Germany, is that wherever there is roof, as long as there is no shadow on the system, we convince our customer that there will be X percentage of performance drop due to this. But you look at it from the other way side. So I'm going to give you a very good example if your time permits me. Do you have time for me?
Yes, sir. Of course, please.
Okay, so early in 2000, Prince Charles did a solar water installation in the Buckingham Palace,
Okay.
and there was a press conference.
Okay.
And during the press conference, one of the press leaders informed Prince Charles that look, we have 4 to 5 months of winter where there is no sun.
Okay.
And to that, Prince Charles replied, look, I have 8 months of sunlight. So why are you not looking at the 8 months, and why are you looking at 4 5 months which are in trouble? So that's the way one has to look at solar. So if you
Right.
want to do greenwashing, that's good. But if you really want to utilize every inch of power that it gets, like I started,
Mm-hmm.
solar energy, wherever there is sunlight falling on the street, that's petrol that is wasted. So why don't
Right.
cash it?
Very well said, sir. And with this, my next question would be, as you previously said also about floating solar. So floating solar platforms are gaining quite, popularity due to land scarcity. So what are the key advantages and consideration when implementing floating solar projects in India? Also, can you share an example of a successful project in this category?
Uh, I'll give you the total scope of floating solar, and
Okay.
this is as per TERI report.
Okay.
TERI report, it's called the third pillar of solar.
Right.
They have assessed the whole the scope of floating or water bodies in India. And for the viewers who are interested in floating solar, they'll be surprised. India has 18,000 square kilometers of water bodies in India.
Hmm. That's
18,000
huge.
square kilometers. And if you only take 10% of water bodies, so when I'm talking about 18,000 square kilometers, I'm talking about, let's say Delhi has water reservoirs. We are
Right.
not talking about rivers. I'm talking about water reserve. Delhi, Mumbai has these water bodies which are there, which are catchment areas, which are
Mm-hmm.
backwaters. It's incidentally the water, drinking water sort of water bodies, and
Mm-hmm.
larger water bodies greater than I think 2 kilometers.
Mm-hmm.
So if you only take 10% of that, India can generate 288 gigawatt of solar power through these solutions only.
Just 10%.
So the just 10%, yes, and that's not my report. That's Terry report. So and it's pretty authentic, and I congratulate and thank Terry for doing this wonderful work on assessing the water bodies. So now I have told you what is the level of opportunity. So if the technology, you see, the whole question in technology is where there is opportunity, there is technology.
Right.
So I can see technology opportunities in floating solar. So I invite entrepreneurs, researchers, and manufacturers to look at this as an opportunity, because within the floating solar, there are a
Mm-hmm.
lot of scope and opportunity available. So I would recommend you to have a special session, and I don't mind talking for 45 minutes on floating solar only.
Surely, sir. All right. And with this, I would like to ask my last question, sir. So, as you are a industry veteran, so what suggestions would you want to provide to policymaker to further lift the solar sector, sir?
Government of India is doing much more than what is actually it's overstretched, and I thank the government for initiatives. Unfortunately, what is happening is solar is or power is a state subject.
Right.
So anything that happens in power, every state has a different policies and rules.
Right.
So if you can have a codified solar law, it will really be helpful to all of us. That's
Right.
the first session. And the second is there has to be a standard platform wherein all the generation from all the systems could be documented in one platform. So it will be a good way to learn, and it could be an open access platform for everybody to assess and look at it. So that's my suggestion.
And any advice for young entrepreneurs, sir, who are watching our series and this episode of yours?
So typically, the opportunity size in solar from today
Hmm.
uh, is greater than $100 billion.
Right.
And with the $100 billion, it has, and secondly, it is a multidisciplinary subject.
Mm-hmm.
Third is that there is lot of opportunities to start or work with somebody in the solar. So I would strongly recommend gain experience.
Mm-hmm.
And after so many years, many a times I still feel that I don't know this. So there's no harm in saying that you don't know, and that's how the whole learning process has to start. So invest your time wisely,
Right.
work with companies, and gain experience, and then you're good to go. This
Right.
is a good 10-15 years of life you can actually look at it.
That's great, sir. And this is how we are ending our episode with you. Thank you so much, sir, for taking out time and providing us with such insightful inputs. I'm sure our our viewers and the young entrepreneurs who will be watching this video will have a blessed time. And thank you so much, sir, again. And for our audience, that's all for today's episodes of Green Guardian. I leave you with this insightful conversation of Mr. Rayleigh. And till the time we are not bringing the next leader, keep supporting sustainability. Thank you so much.